And unfortunately I'm in an RV and I'm kind of limited on supplies, so I'm kind of having to do this as best I can right now. I just happen to have some things here, so the things that you're going to need is a Tupperware container, depending on how many vegetables you're doing. You know, the deeper and skinnier it is, the better usually, but certainly for things like celery, you'd want one that's tall and skinny. This is about the closest thing I have right now. And also a good sharp knife with a nice thin blade is better, but you know, if you don't have it, that's fine. Or you can use a razor blade also, that works really well. It's kind of the same idea as you do with people tell you to do with roses. Also, you'll need, hopefully you still have the bag that the veggies came in, and they usually have little holes in them. That's kind of help cut down on the mold and mildew. If you put a totally enclosed bag around them, they'll usually get moldy a little quicker, so it's nice to have a bag that has holes in it. If you don't have the original bag, you can just use a Ziploc, cut some holes in it or something. And get your vegetables out, and these aren't severely wilted. I've certainly done this with vegetables that are really in bad shape, and the first time I did it I was absolutely amazed. I mean, the things, you could hold them like this and they were just obviously drooping. I don't know if you can see how kind of floppy that is on video. These aren't real bad, but you know, you can do this in the store too to tell how bad a shape they're in. Sometimes I buy them in the store and they're already worse than this, and I bring them home and hydrate them and they turn out really well. But this one you can tell, you know, just using one finger here, it's just kind of floppy. So that one's in pretty bad shape. The celery, what's left of it here, you know, it's also, you can see it better how floppy it is. It doesn't hydrate as well, but it does okay. And certainly you can do this with a lot of different vegetables, like broccoli, celery, cauliflower. I haven't tried asparagus, but it probably works good. But you know, basically, you know, this end is kind of dried up here. I don't know if how good you can see this, but it kind of gets dried up, and unfortunately it's cracked here too. But we'll probably be all right. Just get you a good steep angle on the knife here. Don't cut yourself, and cut through it here. Cut it at a nice angle there. Looks pretty good. You want to get all that old stuff off of there and get it at a nice sharp angle. And you can imagine that those are like little pipes in there that are pulling in the fluids to the plant. So if you cut it straight across, they're not going to have as much area for the water to go through. So you cut them at a nice sharp angle and it lets the water through better. Alright, so we got that one done, and it's best to have your container filled with fluid first so that you get them in there quickly. Forgot to do that. How critical is, but most people say when you cut roses, you want to get them in the water really quick so that the ends don't dry out. But I'm sure it'll probably work fine like I did. I'll put some more water in it here later. And then celery sometimes a little bit more difficult because they don't leave you as much stalk. I think you could probably just cut this totally off and have it in a bunch of pieces, but I haven't really tried that yet. Tell you what, we'll do that with one. We'll break this one off. I'm just going to cut a little bit of an angle here. You can actually see the little parts in these where the water gets soaked up. Put it in there, and then this one I'm just going to cut it straight across because there's not much room to do otherwise. Get rid of that kind of brown crusty looking part so that there's some kind of fresher look. Doesn't look great. Kind of been old and dried out for a long time. Anyway, maybe that'll work good enough. We'll put that in there. And like I said, I'll add some more water here in a minute. The other thing is put the bags back over it. It kind of helps keep the air-conditioned air or the heated air, the dry air in your house or RV from drying out your produce while it's rehydrating. So it kind of helps it go a little bit quicker. Alright. And of course it's easier with a taller, skinnier Tupperware container, but this is all I got for now, so it'll have to do. Okay, and I'll put some more water here in a minute, and then I'm going to make note of the time here. It is 8:44 right now, so I'll come back here in a little while and we'll pull the bags off and see how things look. Now, as far as, you probably don't want to leave this stuff sitting in the sunlight, because a lot of things I've noticed, like the broccoli, tends to start to actually bloom and grow again. So it's probably better to keep it in a dark area. I haven't really experimented with keeping it in the refrigerator versus not, but it seems to me like it hydrates just as well in the refrigerator, and probably helps keep it from growing any kind of molds or anything that are on it by keeping it cooler. But you can certainly experiment and see for yourself. Anyway, we'll be back in a little while. Okay, I'm back. Had to go run a few errands. Took a little longer than I thought. But turn off the air conditioner so you can hear me better. I did happen to check it right when I was getting ready to walk out the door at around 10 o'clock, and the the broccoli had already started to get a lot stiffer already. Right now it is 11:45, so this has been right about 3 hours. I didn't put this stuff in the refrigerator because I'm in an RV. The refrigerator's so tiny and packed full of stuff right now, I really couldn't put it in there with the water. I did add some more water. I'm real close to the top, almost probably a half-inch from the top. Probably the higher the water level, the better, as long as you're not up into the crowns or the more delicate parts of the plants. And I pulled the blinds down to keep the light low so the stuff wouldn't start to grow. But in 3 hours it's not that big of a deal anyway. But anyway, let's check it out here. And oh yeah, much better. You can see, still moves a little bit, but nowhere near as floppy as it was. I mean, it's got good rigidity to it now. And like I said, I've done this with stuff that's in a lot worse shape than this, so that's really good. 3 hours, and I don't think it's going to get a lot more stiff than that. I wish I'd let it go a little bit longer for the video. Maybe I'll reshoot this video one day with some that's a little bit more wilted. The celery, I don't think I really showed real good how wilted it was, and it wasn't extremely bad, but yeah, it's better. It's not nearly as floppy as it was. It hydrated quicker than I thought it would. This was the piece I cut, and it did pretty good. This, I think probably the piece I cut did better, so maybe that's a lesson learned there. Go ahead and cut the very tip of it off, because this gets cruddy and crusty pretty quick, so I probably didn't cut off enough to get into the fresh part where it could actually get water through it, is why. So I'll probably put this back in here, and I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the video. I think you get the idea of what you can do here. Anyway, be sure and click on the like button if you enjoyed the video, and